Hello and welcome to Queering IFS, a podcast by two internal family systems therapists, Alessio and Jude. I'm Alessio Rizzo. I'm an IFS therapist, a clinical consultant for IFS, I'm a trainer and a blogger. And with me we have Jude. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Alessio. Hello, I'm Jude. I'm a Level 3 certified IFS therapist and approved clinical consultant and occasional trainer. And in this podcast, we explore themes and issues connected with gender, sexuality, and neurodiversity through queer and queering lenses.
Hi, Jude.
Hello, Alessio.
Here we are again.
Yes, we are. Lovely to see you again.
Good to see you too. It's been too long since the last time.
We absolutely aren't recording 2 episodes together. It's been so long.
Don't say that, Jude.
The fourth wall has been broken.
Will they spot that we're wearing exactly the same clothes if
Oh,
they're watching
yes,
the
we forgot
video?
our clever outfit change and hairstyle
Gosh.
change. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, shall we introduce
Hmm.
ourselves first, or shall we talk about
Yeah.
the title of the episode first?
Okay, so the episode today is one that a topic that's very close to my heart and very active in what I'm doing at the moment, which is around IFS and nature, or IFS and ecotherapy, or ecopsychology. And what's the missing link?
Oh my God, that's
Mm.
so interesting and kind of disclaimer. I have no clue what Jude is gonna say about this, so I'm all ears. But before we
Yeah.
go there, I'll hold my curiosity. Shall we introduce
Let's
ourselves?
do that. Yeah.
Right. So maybe I'll go first, and then you go second,
Sure.
and then you follow through with the
Mm.
topic. So, Alessio here. Um, well, as we're talking about nature, I'm gonna just say where I come from. I come from the south of Italy, and there is a
Mm.
lovely, I have a lovely connection to the sea, particularly. That's my go-to
Mm.
place. I identify as a queer, gender fluid person, neurodivergent, um, Italian, Southern Italian as heritage, immigrant here in the UK, where I live. Um, IFS wise, I am a certified therapist, level 3 trained, assistant trainer, approved clinical consultant, a book writer, a published author as well, which you also are, by the way. So, yeah, that's it from me for today, Jude.
Thank you, Alessio. Yep. So I am Jude. I'm which way shall I go? Okay, so yeah, I'm also queer, neurodivergent, gender expansive, we'll go with today. I am IFS level 3 certified psychotherapist and approved clinical consultant. And I'm also a budding ecotherapist, and do some of my work outdoors in the woods of Sussex with my clients. And I'm a circle facilitator and also a trainer and advocate are all things neurodivergent, queer, and nature based.
Mm,
Yeah,
amazing.
that'll and published author, of course, yes, as well.
Oh, yeah, aren't we both?
Yeah, so
I do have a tiny question, Jude, just
great.
on top of what you said. What is a budding ecotherapist? Because my
So
brain is going,
I'm calling myself a budding ecotherapist because I consider myself very much still to be a student of ecotherapy. So
okay.
for the past year, I have been on 18 months. For the past 18 months, I have been on a course of learning,
Mm,
learning about all things. First of all, learning about nature allied psychotherapy, and now I'm entering my second year of ecotherapy and ecopsychology training with Natural Academy, who are based in Bristol.
I
So
see.
I'm budding like the bud of a leaf on a tree, I'd say I am emerging,
Oh, so it's
emerging
not
into
like
this world.
the body, like another person who's your body.
No.
It's okay. So that's English
More,
is a
no,
second language piece for
okay.
me. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I'm talking about something I'm really passionate about. And I do, yeah, I am, like I say, I have done some training in, but I also feel like it's a process that I'm going to be going through for the next few years of really, really understanding this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Beautiful. I'm super curious what you could say, but you say there's a missing link between IFS and nature. So
Well,
what's the tea there?
well, I mean, there is a missing link between IFS and nature. But actually, if I can zoom us out for a moment,
Of course.
there is a missing link between psychology, psychotherapy, psychiatry, and all models of the mind and
Mm.
nature.
Oh yeah.
And this is very, very important when we think about the work that we do. So, and how can I make this incredibly long story fit in a short way? Let's see. My Ferrari brain is revving.
Go on.
So, okay, well, let's do it in this way. So, Alessio, in your training as a psychotherapist,
Mm.
has any of that ever taken place outdoors?
Nope. Never.
No. And in your training as a psychotherapist, was the non-human, the more than human, the natural world part of that?
But when you say non-human, you mean also spiritual or just natural?
Um, could be also
Because
spiritual. So
neither of them were
thinking,
present.
yeah,
To
yeah,
be
yeah,
honest, the
right,
answer is no.
exactly.
Anyway.
And isn't, yeah, so, and this, and your experience is the same as my experience prior to me intentionally taking these steps into working with the natural world, the more than human world. The majority of psychological training, psychotherapy, counseling, and beyond don't actually feature the natural world at all. And yet it's shown over and over again there's so much research coming out at the moment around nature connection. It's shown over and over again that connecting with the natural world has incredibly positive outcomes on mental health. So much so that some GPs, and this is all new emerging work as well, some GPs surgeries now are actually prescribing nature connected programs for people with mild to moderate depression and anxiety, because the natural world actually, and our connection with the natural world, has a direct impact on our mental health and mental well-being. Now, why is that? Well, here's the tea.
Well, I have
We
many
are
answers.
nature.
Yes.
This is the bit that is forgotten.
Mm.
We have forgotten it. We've got this, our separation story over the past few hundred years of moving further and further away in so many ways from the natural world, means we've kind of this link has been forgotten. This thing that we evolved with the rest of the more than human world. We're part of that. When we
Mm.
can find ways to reconnect even in a small way, that really benefits us hugely, and it also benefits nature, because the
Mm.
more we connect, the more we care, and the more we care, the less inclined we might be to use more plastic or pollute the rivers. And so it's win-win in terms of the environment, and it's evident to all of us. I don't think we've probably got many climate change deniers listening to this podcast. It's evident to most of us that the natural world really needs us right now to care more about it as well.
Yeah. Mm.
So that was my nutshell.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing the idea of the natural world and for
Mm,
reminding me, that we are part of it.
yes.
Really.
And this is the fascinating thing, I think, when it comes back down to therapy is, we spend years and years training, and we learn really important and useful interventions for our clients, and we help them improve their mental health and well-being, hopefully quite a lot of the time. And yet we do it all in within four walls, and we do it all in these rooms. Maybe there's a plant, but mostly we're doing it inside, and so we're working with one person's system, even within IFS. Although IFS, I think, does a better job than some more classical models. Um, we're looking at that person as an individual, discrete unit,
Yeah, we are.
but we're not taking in, who they are as a sensory animal being.
Yeah. And what comes to mind is how many times in the unburdening process exiles over and over again bring you back, at least mine, to a natural place.
Yes, right,
Like,
exactly.
so we have it. It's in us. That's where we release and find peace and connection.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm
and
really glad you said that, Alessio. Yeah. Yeah.
and and there are a couple of things that come to mind. But first of all, it's this huge sadness I feel whenever I realize what we are doing as a race to the world. And I
Mm.
really admire those ones who fight and want to make a difference in terms of climate change, because you know for me it's so painful that I kind of my system goes, okay, look the other way, focus on
Yeah.
neurodivergence, queerness. You've got already quite a lot
Mm.
that you're doing to contribute. But and then I wonder, how can we not feel impacted negatively by that?
Right.
It is at some
Yeah.
level, this is going to hit all of
Yeah.
us. It is already hitting all of us.
Absolutely. And I think, that the looking away is so common. I did it. I did it for decades of my life. It was too much. It was too much to look at. And it,
Yeah.
and it, it still is. It still can be overwhelming. But not the problem, sorry, let me rephrase that. And I think, part of that numbing is also what keeps us separate, because we can't look at it. And
Mm.
to begin to engage back with the natural world, we have to also engage with that, the
Yeah.
grief,
Yeah.
the distress, and and that can be very painful.
Mm.
But as with many things, it's two sides, because when we're numbing and we're turning away from ecocide, ecological destruction, polycrises, all of these things, we're also turning away from the absolute beauty and magic of this world that is so complex and very queer, I will
Oh, yeah.
say.
Or,
um, and provides so much, and actually is a world built on cooperation and connection. It's not about competition. It's not survival of the fittest. Um, it's the web of life, and we can be part of that.
mm,
And I think it's really, it's interesting that as soon as this topic, when we started this topic, the first thing that you were saying, Alessio, it took you straight back to your connection with land and
mm,
southern Italy and the sea, because we all have this capacity in us. We all have this capacity to connect and belong. It might be very hidden, and I'm not suggesting that this work is easy and or straightforward or simple, but it's possible, because it's more of a
mm,
remembering than anything.
yeah. And I know you mentioned the missing link, and also I keep on seeing a lot of links between IFS and nature, like
Yeah.
how much self energy can nature provide, and that's the healing
Yeah.
principle of IFS. So if a tree can
Mm,
connect to my parts and they can receive that self energy, there will be a healing effect,
yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
not another human being doing so, or
Right.
internally providing that connection.
Yeah. And we can have those reciprocal relationships with a tree or with the land or with a bird or it could be an individual or it can be a space or a place. And it's I'm just bouncing back to what you were saying about exiles, and something that's ingrained within IFS is in the unburdening process. We invite exiles to release their burden, and we suggest the elements.
Yes,
And I think this speaks to something. IFS, is 40 odd years old, but it's tapping into something so much older and more ancient within us,
absolutely.
and where these elemental connections do exist.
Yes.
So, it's not that when we learn IFS, well, when we as therapists learn IFS, we don't have to go teach our parts. Okay, so this is how we do this. They know, and then when you're working with clients, we might, if a client is a little bit stuck and doesn't quite know what you mean by would they like to release the burden, you might say, for example, fire, water, earth.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know about you, but I don't often have to give that prompt.
No, me neither.
They
Usually,
know, and it's so yeah, yeah. Please go on.
no, that's what I wanted to
Yeah,
say. That it's innate, but the whole
it's
IFS
innate.
model comes after as an attempt to describe a natural healing process that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that's why sometimes the steps can get in the way because the
mm.
process comes before the steps. We just need to follow what
We
part
c-
down.
yeah, we can have that very human tendency to want to stick to the map
Yes.
when actually the terrain is right there, and we can just follow it. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Hmm. So, um, can you tell us more about IFS and
yeah.
nature? Are you venturing into this
So
area? Is it your
it
creation?
so what's been really, yeah, so I guess as I've been learning more and more about ways to work therapeutically outdoor, and okay, this is an important point actually before I go any further. So when I'm talking about ecotherapy, I think even that word can be a bit much for people. They think, oh, what do I suddenly have to understand how to light a fire with two sticks outside, or be a bushcraft expert or something like that. No, it you this can be, this could be about how do you engage with the view outside your window,
Mm,
or how is nature present in your life at the moment, even if you live in the middle of a city.
mm,
um there is a really beautiful practice called sit spot, which is just about going to a place in nature and sitting and experiencing that space, and that could be a park, that could be looking out of a window, it could be lots of different things, but it's just about you start where you are and then reconnect. And ecotherapy doesn't mean you have to have your therapy sessions outdoors. You can, most of my work is still on Zoom, but it's how we might bring in experiences that have happened in
mm.
nature, or how we might understand these metaphors like in IFS of the natural world. I said I was going to say that before we went somewhere else. You asked me a question. Oh, how is this in my work? What am, what did you ask
Something
me?
about, if you are, because you are, my understanding is that you are merging IFS with nature work.
Right. Sorry. Yes. Thank you
Curious
so
about
much
that
for keeping
piece.
me on track. Yeah. So the further I've gone into this world of ecotherapy, the more I have, and in conversation with my colleague Michal, who I'm running an IFS and the Living Fields workshop with in the summer, which I'll say more about shortly.
Ooh, please.
Um, we've been looking at this. So he's coming from the world of ecotherapy and ecopsychology. I'm coming from the world of IFS. We both love IFS. I absolutely love IFS. And yet, because it is a psychological model, it comes from this history of separation. You know, it's born out of white Western medicine. It's born
Mm.
out of four walls and two chairs and a clock, if you're lucky,
Yeah.
maybe a plant. And it's taking human psychology, you know, as this very separate thing. So we need to reconnect. We need to connect back in with nature. So that's what I'm really interested in. And the workshop that we're running in the summer in July is called IFS in the Living Field. And it's where we're going to explore this. How do we bring nature and IFS together? Because IFS is, you know, like we said, it's got elementals to it already.
Mm.
It's understanding that our systems are not discrete units. We understand that there is a connection. Self energy is bigger than one person.
Mm.
We understand there is a interconnectedness with two people or even with a group of people. So why not explore the interconnectedness with the more than human?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I know you're going to tell us later more, but I really want to know. Please remember to say where this is going to be and when,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
we can all
And
join.
yeah, and it's really not about needing to be a nature person. It's really about, you know, how do we bridge this gap, because it's really important, and because we know that nature makes us feel better. It just does. We know that we see these outcomes all the time. So how can we make IFS, which is a beautiful model which works so well for so many people, how can we bring that in, and how can we help people to be more connected?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, as I hear you speak, my fantasy goes wild into, okay, what is this going to look like? Maybe you don't know it yet, maybe
Yeah.
you haven't designed it yet, but I imagine sitting or maybe placing my back on the
Mm.
trunk of a tree and somehow touch base with my parts. But then I'm thinking, but maybe if
Wha-
it's a group thing, so like,
Well, I mean, okay, when you think about doing that, Alessio, when you think about
yes,
sitting, you know, imagine that tree and think about yourself sitting there. How does that feel?
beautiful. I sometimes do
Yeah.
it, but
So this is the other amazing thing with nature connectedness, and which shows, I think, you know, how we are as human beings, we are so primed for this, is we actually don't have to do the big, you don't actually even have to go do that to feel some benefit from it. Even imagining yourself doing that
Mhm, mhm.
makes us feel better.
Indeed, indeed. But and then go back to what I imagine that when you do your workshop, there will be
Mm.
both some sort of imagination and connection to nature.
Yeah. So it's going to be very experiential because it's nature and it's IFS, and both of those things are there. And it's going to be working with it's a very small group of therapists, IFS therapists. And we're going to be looking at, you know, the things we've talked about. So, you know, where was nature in your training? Where is nature in your life? What kind of barriers might you have to bringing this into your practice? We're going to take people are going to have individual and group time feeling into what it's like to be outside, connecting with parts, absolutely, connecting with the natural world, um, and exploring ecological grief,
Yeah,
because
and
that's, you know, that's such a big part of this, because, you know, I'm repeating myself, we've already gone here, but the more we connect with nature, the more we see what we've done
true.
and what continues to happen.
And the more I kind of listen to your description of this field and what this workshop is going to be, the more I'm thinking. oh, it feels like so spacious
Mm,
and in a way flowing. That's so different to the usual training format I have in mind that has got
mm,
so much mental activity going on, and
right.
it, there is a free element to this in
Mm,
the sense that it's really going to be about reconnecting to nature and
yeah.
to its timing and flows rather than
Yeah.
imposing a structure into what is it going to be.
Yeah. And there will be a structure and there will be all of those things that are very important for a training, boundaries and framing and things. But there's also it's an experience of getting, yeah, our Western model of the psyche is so, based in this in a head. And
Yeah.
IFS brings us down into our body, right? IFS and other somatic therapies. IFS takes us not, we're not just in our head, we are feeling, we are sensing into this body, into our body. So
Mm,
it's not it's like the next step of now let's feel and sense into this bigger thing, this thing that we are all part of, that we come from and that we'll go back to when we die as well. This larger world.
mm. I can just really sense how my brain kind of relaxes
Yes.
listening
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. And I think, it touches on I'm thinking about, you know, the things that I'm talking about now are things that existed throughout the world and do still exist throughout the world in many places. Um, and indigenous knowledge, we know these things. We have known these things in various ways in various places forever. And the colonialism, and the exporting of our separate rational white
Mm,
supremacist thinking across the world as an attempt to erase this is also a very important part of this.
yeah. Funny enough, my mind was going to capitalism and
Yeah, yeah.
like,
It's necessary to stay separate for capitalism to work.
well, yeah, and also the impact of nature
Mm,
on nature of capitalism, not
yeah.
just in the sense of the production of certain substances, but also, um, and I know this from my family because
Mm,
I come from a lineage of people who would work in the land, and I hear things like that right now when you go to buy some fruits have no seeds
mm,
because so the market has modified plants to make them
yes.
seedless, to make the fruit seedless, so that they're pleasant in a way to eat, but also they don't allow you to grow your own
Absolutely.
plants and
Yes.
that bear fruit. And there are huge amount of interests and money behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there is
Mm,
a lot that we don't
mm,
particularly see at play.
absolutely.
And then there
Yeah.
is this beautiful place always there in the south of Italy. It's an old, we call it a bakery, but it's actually these guys have got a piece of land and they make everything themselves. So all the
Mm,
baked stuff, and they've got the vegetables, and then whatever they don't sell, they give it to the chickens, and they make
mm,
eggs. And basically, it's a zero waste
mm, mm,
ecosystem where everything is for everybody,
mm.
and it's like such a different
Yeah.
way of thinking compared to capitalistic. I take from you and that's it,
Yeah.
and I put
And
it
I
in a
buy
bag.
my, yeah,
And you know, so yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it, and I think it's no surprise that it's no surprise to me that something else that I notice when I'm working outdoors is my system is so much more resilient. I feel so much less depleted. I'm highly sensitive. I'm autistic. I'm ADHD. I'm all of these things. All of these labels can be applied to my system, but my system when I'm outside is significantly less stressed.
Mm.
It's more relaxed. Yes, I still move around a lot. Yes, I still have those sensory sensitivities, but the natural world does have has the impact on my system compared to to the human made world is completely
Oh,
different.
and,
So that's the other reason I'm passionate about this, is because I think, from a nervous system perspective, there is a big impact.
yeah, absolutely. And I go also back to self-energy and how
Mm,
all the qualities of self-energy are freely available in the natural world
yeah.
spontaneously, whereas in man-made, well, human-made
Mm,
spaces, we need to blend because they're not
right.
conducive
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
those, and there are rules,
Yeah.
regulations, expectations, board games rules that you don't know, and
Yes. Yeah.
expectations, and you got to be dressed in a certain way. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then we feel instantly unwelcomed and a lot of exile energy, and then you go to nature, none of that
Mm,
applies.
right. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't apply, or the natural world, the more than human world,
Yeah,
it meets you.
yeah, and
And
they're
we
so
can,
curious.
yeah. Yeah.
There's many eyes on you when you go into natural world. It can be a little bird or an insect or a duck
Mm.
or a squirrel.
Mhm.
Everybody looks at you, they're curious, they want to make contact. They don't want to eat you necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talk so many stories about that as well, that it's dangerous, it's dirty, it's,
Mm,
insect yuck, all of these kind of things. And who does that serve? I think that's really interesting too.
yeah.
And oh, I've forgotten my point as ever. Um yeah, but I think I wanted to come back to um it's okay. Yeah, I think I want to say it's okay if this feels challenging. To
Mhm.
people, if they think, well, where do I start with this? What do I do? I don't. Where do I begin? You can
That's what our
begin.
podcast is about, right? We talk about
Yeah,
uncomfortable things.
yeah. But beginning could be just there's so many wonderful things available on your phone that can help you connect with nature. You don't have
So,
to know the names of everything, but there's apps that you can use to identify the plants in your local park. Take a picture.
mm,
There's bird. There's an amazing app called Merlin. I'll put a link in the show notes. It
yeah.
records bird song and tells you what birds you can hear. You can
Wow.
start there. You don't have to be, a naturalist. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be curious.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, right? If any of us, any of one of us listening or watching, wanted to take a first simple step,
Yeah.
that be it. Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you've named a few, look out the window, download an app, connect
Yeah.
to the bird songs or to the plants.
Yeah. What would it be like to, yeah. Or, if you have space, if you have outside space, what would it be like in the morning to drink your coffee, just standing outside and listening to the birds, if that's
Mm,
possible? And, or looking out of a window instead of
mm,
looking at your phone.
yeah,
What would
and
it
just
be
do
like
that.
to, yeah, download one of the plant identifying apps and just take pictures of the weeds? That's a human classification, right? We decide which plants are good and bad.
Yes.
So, learning the names of them, learning what they are.
Mm,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big. And I can tell you this, it's quite addictive.
Mhm.
A few years' time,
I
you might
see.
be also training as an ecotherapist.
Well, I'm definitely
Fair
gearing up.
warning.
So tell us, when is this? Can you tell us when this
Great question.
plan?
I should do that. Let me just
Where?
make sure. I'm going to double check because my capacity for dates is always interesting. So in July this year,
2026.
2026, the dates being July 14th to 16th, me and Michal, who is one of the directors of Natural Academy, are running a 3-day workshop, IFS in the Living Field, which is on land in Bristol. If any of you IFS people know Penny Bron, it's basically there.
Oh, wow.
So we'll be working there for 3 days, exploring, connecting, reconnecting, remembering. The details are all on my website, which is anchoredinself.co.uk. The only requirement that we have is that you are level 1 trained or equivalent, because we're not going to be teaching the IFS model. That's it. You don't need to know, you don't need to know the name of a single plant, animal, bird to do this. This can be your first time exploring any of this, or you might already know a lot of these things and be interested in bridging these gaps yourself. But just you don't have to start from a place of knowledge, just curiosity.
Beautiful, Jude. Well, as soon as we finish the episode, I'm gonna check my calendar and see if I can come. I hope I can. If I can't, I'm hoping you're doing it again.
Me too. I hope so too. Yeah, that's the plan. This is a I hope this is the beginning of something.
Beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
a lovely offering. I'm so glad you're doing it. It's definitely made me think a lot and make me look out of the window much more.
Yes.
I was
Great. I mean,
like
yeah.
there was like a crazy squirrel there. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it as well.
You're very welcome. So, as you already mentioned, your website, is that how you'd like people to connect with
That's
you?
the easiest and best way. Anchoredinself.co.uk is my website. I'm also on Instagram with the same handle, anchored_in_self. Or you can look for my name, Jude Khan. I think I'll come up quite easily. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
Alessio, what if people want to know more about you?
Well, the best way is to get to my website, therapywithalessio.com. And I mean, there is plenty of stuff in there, including a free IFS blog, all these podcast episodes that have got 1 page each. And yeah, people can contact me there and find out all the things I'm doing from there.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I will put in the show notes, and I'm writing it down right now, listeners. So if I don't do it, I'm going to put a couple of apps as a really great place to start with starting these things. I will put a link to the workshop as well, and just a few things like that for people who, if you are curious, you can start there. And anyone who is interested in this stuff and wants to get in touch with me, you're very welcome as well. I'd love to have more conversations about this.
Beautiful. So as always, like, share, especially if you know people who are interested in this kind of topic. Please let them know that this episode is here and that Jude is offering this workshop in July 2026. And if you're listening to this after July 2026, please still get in touch with Jude because there might be more coming up.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah. All right then. See you next time.
Thanks, Alessio. Thanks everyone listening, and we'll speak to you soon.